Hey guys, this is Alan Moore, certified financial planner and founder of Serenity Financial Consulting. Thanks for joining me. What do you think of when you hear the word retirement? Do you think of long walks on the beach, time spent with your family, working in the yard? What do you think of? Maybe you have negative thoughts. I had a client once that viewed retirement as death because everybody in his family had died within a couple years of retirement. So what do you think of? Is it positive? Is it negative? I've worked with numerous clients that have recently retired, and the common story that I hear from all of them is that they weren't ready. They weren't ready for the transition that was going to happen. So the first days or weeks of retirement are great. You sit around, you get coffee, you go for long walks, but then the boredom starts to set in because suddenly you have 40 less hours of things to do with your week. So what I want to encourage you is to try and make a plan. A financial planner once told me that the first year of retirement is the second most dangerous year for people, following only the first year of life. Now, I haven't ever seen any data back this up, but anecdotally, I hear it from my clients whenever they talk about the difficulty in transitioning into retirement. It can be, we're very tied to our work. So somebody who was once a doctor may now just be Bob. And so that can be a really big transition. So here are some tips and things to try to do a few years before you think you're going to retire to help make this transition as easy as possible. The first thing is to make a calendar. Now, if you're viewing this video on the blog, you can download it straight from the post. If you're viewing this on YouTube, you can hop over to the blog at serenityfc.com/blog and you can download a sample weekly calendar. But I want you to go through this calendar and outline a hypothetical week of retirement and what you think you'll do in retirement on an hourly basis. So mark in the times that you're eating, the times that you're sleeping, if you want, the times you're time spent with family, all these different things that you think you'll do. Now, what I usually find is that there's an enormous amount of blank space on the calendar when folks get done, because suddenly, again, you have 40 extra hours that you've got to try and fill with stuff. And that's not necessarily easy. The next thing is to start building a social network. So most of us, our entire social network is based on the people that we have at work. So our friends, our interactions come because of our job. What you want to start doing is finding ways of connecting with people outside of the workplace, because many times the people in the workplace, those relationships will end whenever you stop working. So you want to start building this social network of people that you can rely on and hang out with and that type of thing once you retire, because they can be invaluable in that transition process. The next step is to start doing the things you've always wanted to do. I hear all the time, well, I want to start, volunteering at the local community center. Well, go ahead and get started. There's no reason to wait. This can help, one, because it can kind of help you ease into retirement. It helps to start building those social networks. And once you actually retire, even if you're only volunteering one day a week right now, you can bump that up pretty easily as opposed to trying to get started the day after you retire. The next step is to plan to phase in. Ask your employer if they'll let you start phasing into retirement instead of doing it all at once. So maybe you can back off to just 30 hours a week, or take Fridays off, or maybe you can take a couple of months of vacation time 1 year so that you can really begin to ease into retirement. This helps because it lets you start kind of putting the toe in the water to see what are you going to do on a daily basis once you hit retirement and you don't have work, filling up most of your work days. And this also can help bring some income into your bank account, which can help protect your nest egg in the long term. The last thing is to talk with your spouse. I'm still amazed that many couples don't talk about what retirement looks like to them. So one party may want to get in an RV and travel across the United States, while the other one wants to be at home and volunteer locally. Well, you've got to open up those communication channels in order to be sure that you can kind of formulate what retirement's going to look like for the two of you together, and you can create a cohesive plan. The important thing to note is that the transition into retirement is incredibly difficult. It is not an easy one, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. You really, if you have the opportunity, need to start preparing for retirement so that it's not a single day transition and it can be done over a period of time. It'll make the transition a lot easier, and I believe it'll increase your satisfaction with your actual retirement once you get there. So what do you think? Would you add anything to this list? Are you going to try any of the exercises, or any of these thoughts? Have you ever, or did you retire and maybe wish you had some of these ideas? Definitely feel free to share in the comments section below. That's all I have for today. Thanks so much for joining me.